Welcome to the Dr. Fantastic and Thunder Show. I very recently posted the top 10 destructive effects of the Fukushima disaster that occurred in 2011. And I want to read an open letter dated March 2014 to planetarians, I guess the human people on the planet. The Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster was a catastrophic failure at the Fukushima 1 nuclear power plant on 11 March 2011, resulting in a meltdown of 3 of the plant's 6 nuclear reactors. The failure occurred when the plant was hit by the tsunami triggered by the Tohoku earthquake. The resultant cause from both the earthquake-triggered tsunami and the spewing out of radioactive materials from the disabled reactor has resulted in a radioactive debris field which now covers well over 2 million square kilometers of the Pacific Ocean. Now, this is in 2014. I happen to know that 100,000 gallons of radioactive water have been flowing in the ocean since this article is writing, since the disaster and as of this moment. The Pacific Ocean is the largest of the Earth's oceanic divisions. It extends from the Arctic in the north to the Southern Ocean, or depending on definition, to Antarctica in the south, bounded by Asia and Australia in the west and the Americas in the east. At 165.25 million square kilometers, that's 63.8 million square miles in area, this largest division of the world's ocean, and in turn the hydrosphere, covers about 46% of the Earth's water surface and about 1/3 of its total surface area, making it larger than all the Earth's land area combined. There is now heated speculation as to what amount of the debris field is radioactive and to what degree. However, when it comes to anything dealing with radioactivity, it is not a pretty picture when even the amounts are considered small or tiny. I will cover later more of the expert wars which are being played in dissuading the public into believing that anything is really wrong, but it is. As humans, we have had at times a mad rush for change. Many times, change for the sake of change has only come to backfire upon us, and we come to find ourselves in full retreat thereafter. That's been true in our environment, our ecology, with prescription drugs, all manner of things. Today's brilliance is tomorrow's stupidity. We know it's happened before many times. As of 2014, we know from past environmental disasters that the smallest amount of contamination can do very significant damage to the gentle balance of the environment as we know it. That too has been proven many times. So to state that the resultant debris field in the Pacific isn't a concern is simply madness on a grand scale. We can't ignore it, just like the people of Pompeii tried to ignore the volcano, but the end result won't be pleasant. My original intention for the World Technology Senate started out with patent rehabilitation, as the number of injustices in the field of intellectual property law was quite disturbing, ugly at times, and not helping in seeing mankind truly progress. But once the horror of the Fukushima debris field truly came home to roost, the environmental damage it is causing, the DNA and genetic breakdown which is also being done, ruination of the Pacific Ocean's plankton, I knew we were in trouble. And somebody, even if it was us, me, the WTS, somebody has to step forward to do something about this. And so we have. Operating guidelines, precepts for FDI. Having dealt with a number of public companies in the past, I felt that full, total transparency was to be the order of the day. The WTS, or our World Trust, our fiduciary on administration, neither party are legally obligated to provide or get into the kind of reporting and disclosure which public companies regularly go through. However, I felt that the public's interests would be best served by operating in such an open environment. So we shall. Those tenets will be based upon 1. All matters relating to contract negotiations, oversight, accounting, payments, and funds disbursements will be managed by our One World Trust out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, as the fiduciary. 2. All operational and deployment monies received in connection to the FDI, the Fukushima Debris Field Initiative, will be accounted for, audited, and reviewed by a Big Six accounting firm. Our World Trust has identified same, but I will put it to them to make that disclosure at another time. 3. All technologies, systems, processes, remediation systems, and the like will be vetted. Special committees and review panels will oversee all submissions and proposals given in connection with cleaning up the toxic garbage dump in the Pacific. 4. The WTS will put forward good and constant communications on its activities concerning the FDI to keep the public engaged as best as possible. 5. The WTS will communicate with balance and authority so as not to create panic or unrealistic responses from the public, which would not be helpful going forward. 6. Raise the consciousness and awareness of the people at large so an emergency can and will never happen again. So such an emergency can never and will never happen again. Many people understand that, yes, even halfway around the world, should something bad happen, it can and will come right to your back door to affect you as well. Distance and time will not insulate anyone from bad things, and it's only ignorance to believe so. Unless all of us are safe, none of us are safe. 7. Avail the cleanup business and contract opportunities initially to the PAC 30 countries whose shorelines touch the Pacific. It is their backyard. 8. Engage in long-term research and development, biological remediation, stocking and restocking the Pacific, in saving and preserving the genetic and DNA stability of the Pacific through secondary programs operating at sea. Looking to a better future. As would be expected, the personal and business sacrifices we make are real. Having my persona demeaned regularly is always fun, and engaging in such a huge undertaking is at best overwhelming. So why? Well, it's not for the fun factor, surely. Our work is overwhelming, the task's daunting, and clearly the dark side is not happy with what we might actually fight back or clean up the mess. But cleaned it shall be. I have gone to great lengths to insulate my family from the tasks I face, but it is for our human family and the natural habitat of the Pacific that I act. Past motivations and glories sought for the riches past are but a memory, as the enjoyment of money cannot happen while our species is quickly deteriorating. If the situation is not reversed and soon begun, the downhill slide is very ugly. I have already seen on television fish now being caught in the Pacific which are totally transparent. All coloration is gone in their bodies, and it clearly evidences genetic mutations which we might not appreciate later. We don't even have the first clue as to what eating any fish so affected would do to us humans. My gosh. So yes, the genetic breakdown some 2 years later, after the tsunami and meltdown is happening. We have just not qualified how bad it truly is. And again, this article was written in 2014, 4 years ago, by my math. Time we do not have to waste, and there cannot be any limitations to the resources we are going to need to fix this. My only comfort there is knowing there are good forces working in the background in ensuring that that's true. Legacy families from China, financial groups, wealthy people, all know, as I do, money is meaningless if there's no good food to eat or safe water to drink. If anything positive can come from this, it's that people's perspectives on life and what makes for a good life will change for the better or be more mature. You don't have to like me, you don't have to believe me or what I say, but I will end this section with one thought, as was put out earlier this year by Ed Dames, a.k.a. Dr. Doom. He indicated that the year 2014 will be the year which the mainstream press will take its biggest black eye for having withheld the seriousness and impact of Fukushima in all its aspect. I'm going to go on to say that 2018, they're still burying their heads in the sand. All that it shows or demonstrates to me personally is that we need, as a species, to grow up. Truly, the time has come to no longer let your thinking be done by someone or something else. If we don't start taking responsibility on a more mass scale, while we're too busy paying our cellular bills, we put at risk our future and that of our progeny. And as it stands now, we have a huge mess to clean up, so as not to leave those innocent with a very ugly future beyond anything they could even imagine. My expert is stronger than your expert. So, according to much of the yellow press, being in a state of manipulation, lies, and deceit, no, of course all is well. At least that's what they like you to believe. Me, I'm not convinced, no. Last week, I see that a Northern California television station, who I'll not finger just yet, had the nerve, or they were told to secure a local university professor who did the big show, ran down to the shoreline close by, took a water sample and tests, then proudly announces, and I quote, "There is no radiation problem." He further goes on to challenge the audience, and who are you going to believe? Well, sir, not you. There are two incontrovertible facts which are now rearing their ugly heads, and no university professor, bought or paid for, nor can any subsequent news manipulation change. Trade winds are carrying the bulk of the radiation, not water. We have seen evidence in places as far east as Vermont and New York State which show contamination having gone that far east. Again, this is 4 years ago. The trade winds to New York. The garbage is still out there. It's one thing to tell people stupidly that, oh, don't worry, it's nothing, when in fact the debris field is still out there. So if you missed it, the garbage is still out there. Do I need to repeat that again? That kind of garbage, the amount of garbage, has never been left open and unattended ever. Not ever in human history have we seen such a mess. Never. Then to presuppose that there has not been a mixing of the debris and radioactive waters is also lunacy. No one can definitely prove that to be false, and the likelihood is more to the positive it has than the negative. It has not mixed together at sea. Then there is the issue of other chemicals and toxins which the debris field would have all of its own, not including the radioactivity, resins, plastics, chemical residues. All would have been present when the debris field got washed out to sea. That alone should have sent off alarm bells, but it did not, at least not yet. Thank you, Yellow Press. No, Dorothy, closing your eyes and clicking your heels won't put you back in Kansas and won't make things all better. We have a huge mess on our hands as humans. Now the bigger question is, will the message fall onto good hearts? I will leave you with two parting thoughts. Firstly, given the resources and help being offered to me, the technologies, the good hearts stepping forward to help, I am most encouraged. Trust me, it is by no means all doom and gloom. I believe that there are good technologies, good people, and goodwill for us to get back to what we now have endangered so greatly. We are standing at the edge of the Grand Canyon, but not over the ledge, at least not yet. Secondly, I will leave the outcome to you. I know what I'm doing to help, but what about you? What will you do to help? What would you risk to help? What is the value of your life, the lives of your children, your family, those you love? If the theater were truly on fire, would you look to help or merely run away? Nostradamus stated that the future, even after all the dire things he saw and foretold, believed as I do that the future is ours to make proactively. Never truer words were spoken concerning Fukushima. What are we going to do to make our futures better? What risks will we take? What contribution or sacrifices are we willing to make to help? I pray that God gives me the strength and fortitude to make a difference in this and to help correcting this major wrong. May God help us and bless us all, everyone. Respectfully, Stefan Wenzel. And this is a letter from my friend Stefan that I thought I'd read, that to push the issue forward, to get people involved. Please share this. Again, we need to save our planet. We need to save ourselves, our bodies. That's what this show's all about, being positive. This is obviously a very dire situation, and I hope I can help out by spreading the message. But America, even the world, that's got their heads in the sand thinking it's not a problem. Google it. Take a few minutes out of your day and prove it for yourself on the World Wide Web. There's a lot of information out there, and we need to step forward en masse to the governments of the world and help WTS, help any organization that's out there trying to do good. I thank Stephen for writing this great letter. I hope he doesn't mind that I read it on the web. It is on the show, rather. It is on the web, and it's out there for anyone to see. Again, everybody, thanks for listening. Share this, and most of all, be fantastic.